The Amungme people are people who live in the mountains area of West Papua. The Amungme occupy the mountains area beginning from Jigimugi to the Lamatagal. They are known as the first people of the mountainers who travel from Kurima Wamena, which means in Amungme language is the gathering place or the beginning. Traditionally, Amungme people live nomadically. They live and work on the land, hunting for food, traveling between tribals area, helping other families around their lands. The Amungme people are people who live in the mountains area of West Papua. The Amungme occupy the mountains area beginning from Jigimugi to the Lamatagal. They are known as the first people of the mountainers who travel from Kurima Wamena, which means in Amungme language is the gathering place or the beginning. Traditionally, Amungme people live nomadically. They live and work on the land, hunting for food, traveling between tribals area, helping other families around their lands. The Amungme people are people who live in the mountains area of West Papua. The Amungme occupy the mountains area beginning from Jigimugi to the Lamatagal. They are known as the first people of the mountainers who travel from Kurima Wamena, which means in Amungme language is the gathering place or the beginning. Traditionally, Amungme people live nomadically. They live and work on the land, hunting for food, traveling between tribals area, helping other families around their lands. The life of Amungme was changed by arrival of Dutch missionary in 1953. The missionary brought Christianity to the Amungme and they established a mission in Bilba. Despite this, the traditional lifestyle of Amungme did not change too much because of the remote location. The life of Amungme was changed by arrival of Dutch missionary in 1953. Then the life of Amungme changed dramatically when international mining arrived in Tembagapura in 1970. On March 1973, the government of Indonesia and the Freeport Mining Company from the US opened a copper mine on Amungme land. Before the arrival of Freeport Gold and Copper Company, they are still very attached to the land of their forefathers and they consider the surrounding mountain to be sacred. That brings us to the present situation between the Amungme people and the mining company. The presence of the Freeport Gold and Copper mine in Tembagapura brings both advantages and disadvantages. Main advantages are improvement in education, infrastructure, as well as financial benefits. That brings us Before Freeport arrived, the Amungme only had access to the traditional medicine. Then beginning from year 2002, about 25% of Amungme had access to the modern medicine. About 4 hospitals and 10 clinics were built by the fee for the Amungme and other tribes. The Amungme people now live healthier than previous year because of they are able to access the modern medicine and get treated well in hospital. In terms of education, PTFI improved the education by building about 10 schools and 5 dormitories for Amungme and other indigenous tribes to access. The Amungme and Kamoro people can receive sponsorship to get education not only in West Papua but also in Java and overseas. The students were taught Indonesian and other subjects from the early age before they get to the elementary school or secondary school. Freeport built the Tembagapura City, Kuala Kencana and Timika Airport. Previously, the Amungme people lived on the land. PTFI also built the houses, bridge, highways, shops, buildings, and they also built the airfield in Singa, Aranap, and the international airport in Timika. This means that Amungme can have access to the rest of the Indonesia and the world. Freeport built the Tembagapura City, Kuala Kencana, and Timika Airport. But the Freeport is also the biggest taxpayer to Indonesia, and the Amungme and Kamoro received the 1% of the royalty from the mining company. But the Freeport is as well as advantages. Freeport also contribute to the mining has considerably damaged the environment. Freeport transported the 23.00 tons of tailings into the water, which causing the degradation on an area from the Utikini to the Lowland area. Presence of the mining company also attract many people and businesses in Timika, among them prostitutes and sex workers who come from Java. The health of the indigenous people of Amungme. The traditional culture of Amungme and Kamoro people has been watered down. In the year before 1960, the people lived traditionally and hold the culture with tightly. However, the presence of mining company hugely changed their life. The practice of the culture has been almost disappeared. It can be seen that 2.5% of young generation today are not able to speak. The culture has also been changed by the military presence of Indonesian government. The Indonesian military assumed that Amungme people who wear the traditional clothes or live traditionally are part of the rebel fighter OPM organization of Papua Merdeka. To minimize the disadvantages, there are three ways that Freeport. Firstly, in response to environment problem, the mining company does not necessarily have to transport the tailing to the river, but they should treat the tailings. Secondly, in response to the health issues, the Freeport and the Timika government have to regulate the sex industry and provide the regular health check for sex. Lastly, in response to issues surrounding traditional culture, the Indonesian government and Indonesian military have to recognize the Amungme people as indigenous people, as well as the land owners, and allow them to practice their tradition and culture without any fear of persecution. Lastly, in response to issues surrounding traditional culture, the Indonesian government and Indonesian military have to recognize the Amungme people as indigenous people, as well as the land owners, and allow them to practice their tradition